Like, how do I come up and keep a fresh look on my book?
We're celebrating Black authors here on the Michael Finkley Show.
We have Takelia Hammett, Geo Derice, and Christopher Green.
What does being a Black writer in America mean to you?
Ready, set, right.
Coming up next.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Michael Finkley Show. I'm Michael Finkley. Today is Monday, September 14th, 2020. Brand new week, brand new beginnings. Finish that paper, finish that assignment, talk with that person that's been on your mind for the longest. Y'all, do it. Just do it, all right? It will make the world a difference. Do it. Do whatever's on your mind, all right? In reason. Do what's on your mind. Fulfill that purpose. Fulfill that drive that you've been trying to accomplish for so long. The world is waiting. I'm waiting. Let's go. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Michael Finkley Show and ring that bell for notification, and we'll send you an email saying new content is uploaded. Thank you so much to all of our subscribers, our viewers, and our future subscribers and our future viewers. Again, we're the Michael Finkley Show, and we're bringing you shows that you need to hear, you want to hear, and we're informing, educating, and inspiring you, and also myself in the process, because everyone needs it every now and again, right? Today, we're celebrating Black authors. And this is very, very, very near and dear to my heart because I'm one, and I just enjoy the journey thus far. So I wanted to see what other Black authors, what their process was like, their writing process, their strategies, marketing, advertising, the differences between self-publishing and using a company. Oh my gosh. And I'm telling you, these three persons delivered. We'll be speaking with Christopher Green, Takelia Hammett, and Geo Derice. I'm telling you, they have some advice for you, but you must stay tuned to learn about the process. Come on, join us. We'll be right back.
Coming up, we chat with our panel of authors. We'll be right back. On the next Michael Finkley, Friday, we chat with Mr. Lester Young and Mr. Christopher Robinson on their time spent incarcerated, how they have turned their negative situation into a positive one by being accomplished authors and motivational speakers. Don't you dare miss the next Michael Finkley.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Y'all, I'm telling you, before your very eyes, you are seeing greatness. Today, we are celebrating Black authors, and I have three of the most awesomest, powerful people out there, I tell you, and they among themselves have written some awesome pieces. But I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves to you. I'm going to start with Geo. Geo, tell us who you are and tell us some of the books that you've written as well.
Yes, my name is Geo Derice. I'm a motivational speaker, author. I've written 3 books: The Thirst is Real, The Thirst is Real Essay Edition, and my recently published book, Geo's Gems.
All right, look at that. Chris?
Hi, my name is Christopher Green. I am the founder and executive director of a nonprofit organization called Open Mind Mentoring, where we focus on the mind and behavior of the youth in our community. I've written 2 books. One is called 20 Courageous Men, True Stories of Triumph, Hope, and Audacity to Succeed. Co-authored that book, and then also I authored a book called, which I'm so excited because I just got this book released a few months ago, so I'm out like hustling, trying to get the book sold. So the book is called Mentoring at Its Best: Stories of Young Men Who Triumph Over Adversities.
I love it. I love it. Takelia, hey, so can you tell us who you are and the book you've written?
Awesome. Yes. So I am Takelia Hammett, author of Little Darius book. It was officially published this year in May, and so I am so glad to be a part of the Black author community. I'm so thrilled to be a part of it.
I love it. I love it. Yes. So, Chris, can you tell us why you wrote this book, your recent book?
So, in my line of field, I work with a bunch of young people And mainly I work with a lot of young males. And a lot of the young males I work with have a lot of different issues, from low self-esteem to dealing with disabilities in the schools, or having like parental issues and so forth and so on. So as I began to work with those young men, I wanted to put that book in a story, so I can have other young men and maybe the moms to actually read the story, to let them know that they have other people, other children out there that are having the same issues that their young men are having. So when they read the book, they're inspired to know that they're not alone. And then they also aspire to know that they have some other people, or some parents that's fighting the same battle they're fighting in the schools, at home, in the community, and so forth. So I really wanted our parents to be encouraged and inspired. I want our young people, especially our young males, when they read the book, to let them know that they're not alone as well, and that they also have some other people that have some of the same issues that they're experiencing now.
Okay, awesome. So it's amazing how the book aligned with your passion in life. Gio, was that the same for you?
100%. I think it's definitely right in alignment with what I believe. My book, Geo's Gems, the last one I did, literally was because I believe that our thoughts become the things that we see. And so I wanted to just give people 52 thoughts that would help to reprogram their thought patterns so that they can go and see different things as a result of it.
I love it. So Takelia, you have little ones out there and you have a children's book. Tell us about that.
Yes, so I have two young boys, a 6-year-old and a 19-month-old. And so prior to being a full-time homeschool teacher, prior to doing this, I worked with kindergarten through second grade students with Clarendon School District 1 as a 21st century after school program director. And so I've been around kids a lot, and I love their energy. I love being around kids. They know how to tap their imagination like no other. Okay, and so I love feeding off of their energy. It encourages me to do more writing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And especially in time we in now that, we need that type of, that positivity for them. Especially they're all virtual right now. So we need that to get to them as well. Geo, can you talk about your writing process? What does that look like?
Yeah, for me, it really starts off with like, what do I want to talk about, and bullet pointing it. So I'm literally just writing bullet points of thoughts that I would like to go ahead and expand upon, find stories with it. From that process, I literally will record myself speaking about those bullet points. So instead of writing, I go ahead and I speak it, and then I get that transcribed so that I'm never starting the writing process from a blank page.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
wow.
I've one time a mentor told me that, Geo, people have writer's block, but they don't have speaker's block. And so once I heard that, I said, man, I could speak like nobody's business. So let me go ahead and do that. And it just gives me momentum in that process of actually starting the writing process.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I have to keep that in mind. I have to keep that up here as I'm writing along. Chris, what does your process look like? And how long did it actually take you for this process?
So Mike, I'm laughing. Actually, this book, honestly, this book is kind of dear to me. It took a minute for me to actually finish it, only because I was still working with a bunch of young people and trying to gather all of my thoughts together so I can be able to know how I can put into this book. So what I've done is I just started writing. I wrote down experiences. I wrote down things that I've had contact with, especially with my boys. And each time I have a relationship with some of the guys, I will write down what type of experience, what type of relationship or even conversation that we've had, so I can be able to put it in the book. So it's been a bit of a challenge because the thoughts has been like here and here and here and where I want to go with it. But after I decided to sit down and put it together, it just started flowing. And then one of the good thing about my book is I was able to reach out to my parents and had a piece of my parents inside the book as well, because I wanted to get their thoughts and their feelings and what they're experiencing with their young males. So so it was easy for me because I was able to get like different people to add pieces into it, as well as my experiences that I was able to add into the book as well.
Gotcha. Takelia, I know that your process, because me and you were talking about this for a while now, your process is very unique, and you decided to go the self-published way. Why was that?
Right. So I actually wrote the piece in 2017. And so I wrote it. I got the idea from a Bible that I bought for my oldest son. And I seen a cute little bell in the bowl, and I said it out loud, and the title just rung to me. It just had a bell. And so I said, well, that sounds like it will be a neat children's book. And so I did. I took my time. I wrote it. I'm pretty old school, so I got my paper, my pencil, and went to work. And so I did submit it via the traditional publishing route. But because of funding at the time, I was not able to do it. And so 3 years later, you and I had the conversation, and you asked the big question, Takelia, have you thought about self-publishing? And I told you no. And so the rest was history. You gave me the information that I needed, and it was a pretty easy process. I just had to make sure I had my manuscript up. I had already had it edited and revised and all of that good stuff. And so putting it through the publishing process was not hard at all.
Gotcha. And I know that, with self-publishing, sometimes, persons have a positive thing to say and some people have a negative thing to say. Geo, I know that through your various workshops and seminars and your awesome book on social media, your group on social media, you talk about, the pros and the cons. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, I think the self-publishing route obviously gets a stigma because it's self-published. Like, the validation doesn't come from an external source like a traditional publishing company would give you that validation. The difference really is control. It's in terms of the traditional publishing route, you're looking at a longer turnaround time with your idea, and once they bring you on, it's like it's y'all idea. It's not your idea anymore. So when you go and say, I want a green cover, and they're like, yeah, but we've been doing this for a while and we're thinking red. And now what you'll start to see in that process often is that you'll start to see your book change to a point where you're like, almost like if you brought a kid to daycare and you're like, hold on, I didn't send them to school with this stuff on. Right. Like, what is going on here? And you don't even recognize your book anymore. So the self-publishing route, while it does have a lot more things that you have to go ahead and figure out, where do I get my editor? How do I deal with the book cover design? That's more on yourself. But the beauty of it is that you can literally have an idea today and have a book published 30 days from now within the self-publishing space. The traditional publishing space, they have like calendars, especially the bigger companies, and you're probably looking at 8 to 12 to 14, 16 months in turnaround time, and you might end up missing the opportunity that your book literally was made for. So let's say we're right now recording during a pandemic, and I wanted to write a book about how to stay motivated during the pandemic. Well, if I go ahead and do something like that, a traditional publisher might go ahead and say, well, that's cool, that's awesome, we'll come out with that in 8 months. But the heat of it is right now. So I want to go and get it out right now. Now, some publishers might change their mind because they see the opportunity from a money perspective. But again, ultimate control is where you make that decision of, do I want to self-publish or if I want to go the traditional route.
Gotcha. Chris, traditional or non-traditional? Tell us about it.
I think I'm more of a neo in this type line because I just started like self-publishing this book myself. So I would probably say non-traditional, you know, because it would give you the opportunity, like Geo said, to actually see your own work. And then also give you the opportunity to go back and edit if you need to go back and edit, versus if you was to get like a publishing company, they would give you X amount of time to say, all right, this is what you have, this amount of time to edit this book. And if you exceed that amount of time, then you have to pay a certain amount of money. Whereas when you self-publish, you can go back and do whatever you need to do, from editing the cover of your book to editing the inside of your book. So, you know, I would think that this will be a great opportunity for anybody who really wants to write their own book and do their own self-publishing, because they have opportunity to go back to do their own edits and to make any changes that they need to make.
Gotcha. That's good. And then to ask the question again, even though we self-publish, you know, we have to do all the marketing, the promoting, the advertising, all on our own without this big team that, you know, we could have hired through a company. So Takelia, how has that been for you in just self-promoting yourself?
Man, listen, it has been a journey of self-discovery for me, because I'm not a big talker, you know, so having to go out, step out there in front of people, some people that I know, some people that I don't know, it has been challenging at times, but I'm thankful because I know that I'm doing what I've been called to do, right? And so I've been going out into the community, and the community has been super duper supportive. Some of my 21st century students, them along with their parents, they've come out to support. I recently went out to the radio station, just kind of reaching out, being my own team, and having my support group has helped me along the way.
I gotcha. I feel Geo is the senior of this panel because you dude, he has 3 books. He's been doing it a while. You know, Geo, so how has it been for you?
You know, I've seen this, whether it's my 3 books, the 48 other books that I've helped self-publish with other authors. And the biggest challenge is you really have to know who you're writing the book for. Mm-hmm. So having that clarity of knowing who the audience is, and then also realize that if you want people to join the bandwagon, which is join the hype of you of the bus. Mm-hmm. You can't expect other people to go and say, I'll drive it for you. And so what I've seen is that sales will dip the minute your interest or that energy dips as well. And so you want to always be promoting. There's like a marketing term, ABM, which is always be marketing, right? So you want to continuously market. And I think the challenging thing actually, buddy, is that the angles, like how do I come up and keep a fresh look on my book? Because you don't want to be the person that's like, get my book all day long. You got to find a new hook. And so you try to hijack news articles. So if you have like a mental health aspect to your book, and now we're in Suicide Prevention Week and Day and Month, you can now hijack that headline to now attach it to something in your book. And so you just got to be finding ways to go and make sure that the content in your book is relevant to what is happening in these times, and always create that bridge, that connecting point to the book, so that way it stays relevant and everybody sees it from a new lens, a fresh lens.
Gotcha. That's good. I'm telling you, that's work for me. I'm telling you. Chris, you're the newbie, I guess. You know, so how have you started that journey in just marketing yourself?
Yeah, you're right. I am a newbie. Like I said, I'm the neo person in this group here. So here's the deal. I look at this book like I look at my organization. In order for me to market my organization, I have to really get out in the trenches to talk to different individuals and host events and just do so many different things so people can actually know who I am and some of the things we do in the community. With my organization for the past few years, we've gotten in the community, we made phone calls, we met with different agencies and businesses and let them know who we are and what we are about in our community. So with this book, it's pretty much the same thing. Is, you know, first I just market on Facebook and social media, and then secondly, what I've been doing is just by word of mouth. You know, hey, this was my new book. I need you guys to check it out. You know, and being a new person on the block, having something that's fresh and that's new, and people really interested and want to know what this new thing is or what's inside this cover. And what they want to do now is just want to just go out there and try to purchase it or read through it. So I've been giving bits and pieces of the book so they can kind of say, yo, you know what? I really need to read this book, because what I read or what I heard so far, I really need to know what's inside. So I've been really sharing a lot to some people, and then also just blasting on social media and just letting everybody know what's going on, especially now during this pandemic. You know, you can't do a book signing party anymore. You know, you can't do all these big elaborate things that you used to do before the pandemic. Now you have to be very creative on what you can do to market yourself. So, you know, again, I've been out there just talking to people, calling folks, sharing stuff on social media to let people know what I'm about. And I got this new project that I need them to buy into. So, you know, Geo, just like you said, man, just like a marketing piece, you have to market yourself. You know, you have to get out there and let people know who you are, and not be afraid, Tanika, so they can say, yo, this is me, this is my project, you know, I'm marketing me and I need you to support me. And believe it or not, when you build a relationship with folks, they will actually buy into you. And it's all it takes to just, you know, who you are. And it just takes a simple conversation. You know, let's have coffee, or let's just sit down and just chit chat just a little bit. And then, oh, by the way, I got a new project out I need you to buy into. So, and once you build that relationship, I promise you, you will find not only that one person will purchase it, but you find 2 and 3 and 4. Just like the Bible said, 1 beget 1, and they beget 2 and beget 3 and 1,000 and 10,000. So we got to get out there and market ourselves, because if we don't do it, I promise you, our project is going to stay in our houses, on the shelves, in the closet, or wherever they are. And we're not going to be able to get out there and market ourselves. So I've been pretty much like working like crazy. Mike, you know, you see what I've been doing, man. I've been working, trying to get my project out there and try to get people to actually buy into what I'm doing.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't have said it better myself. You guys are awesome. But when we come back, we're going to talk about the trending topics of current day and how being a Black author in America is for you all. We'll be right back.
Next, the panel describes how they feel about being a Black author in America today. We'll be right back. The Finkley Experience is an education and consulting firm that specializes in first-generation education. We assist parents and their students with the college process. We train school administrators, and we also partner with colleges and universities to assist with their first-generation population. To learn more about our consulting firm and to purchase our book and workbook, please visit our website at thefinkleyexperience.com.
Everybody, welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. We're still chatting with Takelia, Geo, and Chris. We're celebrating Black authors here on the Michael Finkley Show, and I'm telling you, they're giving us some awesome information needed if you decide to want to become that next author of today. And so you see before you that everyone is Black, right? And all that's happening in America today, right, with injustice, racism still rearing its ugly head, you know, the shootings, all that kind of good stuff. Panel, what does being a Black writer in America mean to you? Let's start with Geo.
Yeah, honestly, I think the biggest thing is that we get to control the narrative. So many times the narrative is written for us, what we look like, what we do, what we're capable of. So being able to go and pick up a pen or get in front of a computer and type, to go ahead and change and make sure that there are more stories, right? Like the Black Panther and stuff that has encouraged and uplifted us, giving people a permission and let them know that you have the right to go ahead and write that book right now. And so I think the more that our youth sees books that are written by people who look like them, the more it starts to normalize the idea that Black writers is not a thing of this is Black elite, but we want to make sure that it becomes something that's a norm.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. Takelia, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. So piggyback off what Geo said, our young children, our young Black children, need something that they can also relate to. You know, they need to be able to connect with their truth, with things that goes on in their everyday life. And seeing someone in a book that looks like them, I think will have a definite great impact on, you know, their outlook, and they will instill in themselves that I can do this. You know, I can write that book. I can go out into my community and make a difference. I am not what others portray me to be, but I can be who I've been called to be. And so I think what Gio said is very important, man. We have our own experiences, and our young children deserve the right able to connect with that experience.
All right, yes. Experience. And I know, Chris, you have a lot of experiences when you're dealing with our youth and being a mentor and having that program. So what does that mean to you?
So, you know, I think that, you know, Geo and Takelia pretty much said it all right there. But just looking at this, our projects, and letting our Black community see that there are other Black individuals just like them that can write a book, it just kind of encouraged them to say, yo, I can do the same thing. You know, instead of they saying, I can't do that, I'm learning now to take the word can't out your mouth, because anytime you say you can't do it, you're not going to do it. And can't is a word that's going to hold you back. So I'm always, you know, trying to encourage them, look, whatever you got in your mind to do, you can do it. Even, you know, if it's a children's book, or even if it's a 10-page book, guess what? You wrote this book, you know what I'm saying? And someone actually had an opportunity to see what you did and what you put on paper. And I think it's needed, because we as individuals, especially we as African American, we're just as smart as our counterpart. And we need to let our young people know that they can do whatever they put their mind to, from writing a book to owning that business to starting their own nonprofit. They can do whatever they decide, that whatever they want to do.
I gotcha. Y'all are so awesome. Yes, Gio.
Just something that just really came in my head just now. It was this idea of like, what is impossible, right? And when we think about the fact that the average person, there's a statistic that says 81% of people believe they have a book in them. 3% of them actually write it and publish it. And so when you give them the opportunity to now be able to say, oh, snap, I can now be part of 3%. I now am a part of this group, but even bigger, I think a lot of times Black people's work is discounted or not appreciated. What I love about writing a book is that once you write it, it lives forever.
Lives forever. And
so to give them something that they can go ahead and do, to say, look at this, like my works is going to be there for years, is super, super powerful. So that's why I'm really excited about the whole writing books and encouraging Black authors to continue to create work that literally will be part of your legacy.
Gotcha. Oh, that's good. That is good. Yes, sir. And so I believe, I've heard this all of my life growing up, that if you put something in a book, Black America won't read it. You know, Black folk don't read. That's what and I can contest to that, because growing up, I hated to read. I hated to read. I hated to write. I just didn't stop it. But then I went to college and I majored in English. Then I wrote the book myself. I'm like, where did that at? You know? So anybody can answer this question. What are your thoughts about that saying? Is it true? Is it not true? What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and start on that. Working with kids at an early age, early literacy is super, super important. And the younger you introduce reading, those reading skills that they need to be successful, I believe the outcome would be different. Simply because I believe children shy away from reading because they feel like they cannot. And so, and I'm speaking as a parent now, we have to encourage our children. We have to coach our children. We have to prep them. We have to really teach them at home the basic skills of reading so that they can build up their self-esteem and know that they can read and comprehend it, not just be able to speak the word, but comprehend the words. And so, therefore, I think it starts at an early age. We have to mold our children and introduce them to books and as often as possibly can, so that they can, build up that courage, build up that momentum to read. Because I mean, it really does. If a child is struggling to read, they will not want to pick up a book. They won't. And if they are able to read, but they are not able to comprehend what it is that they're reading, they get frustrated. And so I think that's what with our young kids, with the younger children, and just instilling it in them early.
Yeah, I remember reading a study one time where, based off grade scores with reading and writing, I think it was like maybe 3rd to 5th grade, they based that off of how many prisons to build. That's crazy. That's crazy, but it's true. So we always tell our students, to do this, that, and the other, but becoming strong advocates for literacy is important because literally it can change their life. It can save their lives as well. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, and just thinking into it, technology is getting now, but I think too, stepping away from it some and getting back to hard copy so that they can feel it, it's tangible, it's real to them, where they can connect with what they're reading, jot down notes, or whatever, something to ground them in what they're reading. Because I strongly believe if they can connect with what they are reading, we would definitely have a different outcome because they will be able to read about it and speak about it, and formulate their ideas off of what they.
Definitely. Yep. I definitely agree with that. Yes, ma'am. And
Well,
so,
sorry, Mike. So, as an educator, I find out that reading is a barrier to a lot of our African American males. And when I say that, is because we realize that a lot of our males can be, number one, lazy because they don't want to put the time into reading. They feel like, reading takes too much time, reading takes too much energy. And if I say a word or read a word that I cannot pronounce, then I'm going to be embarrassed. So I don't think I want to take the time to do that. So, and honestly, reading in our African American community, especially with our young males, reading turns into behavior, believe it or not, because when they can't read or when they want to take the time to read, then they act out in their classes. And that's why you find a lot of our males have been placed into self-contained classroom or possibly resource class because they don't want to take the time to actually read. So I think that reading should be something that we need to implement more, especially with our males, than any other race, because our Black males need to learn that reading is essential, and reading is something very much important into our lives. Like, if you can't read, how can you fill out a job application? If you can't read, how do you know how to order food from McDonald's or any other restaurant? So reading is very essential in our community, and that's something that we should be doing, is implementing that into our community, especially with our males, and let them know the importance of reading. And Takelia, like you said earlier, do a lot of these reading programs out there, and do like book clubs and stuff. So one of the things I think I'm implementing with my boys is doing a book club, and let's discuss a book. Choose a book that you want to read, and let's discuss this book, even if it's a children's book, even if it's a novel or a couple page or paperback, whatever the case is. we need to know, we need to learn to grab something and discuss these things so we can enhance our intellect, so we can be able to be a little bit more knowledgeable.
I love it. I love it. And we see that books are so important. Books are so important, especially if you have a business and that book is a part of your business, right, Geo? So how important is it to have a book? Is it easier for you to get into the door?
It's a lot easier to get in the door with a book. Some people will call it the best business card. You know, you give people business cards and they just throw it away. But a book people don't throw away because they feel like since we were children, we were taught that a book is precious, is valuable. There's something good inside of those things. But in addition to that, the books, I call it it gives you the ABCs. It gives you authority. It helps you with your branding, gives you credibility. And so when you have a book, you're just looked at differently. I don't know I think I shared this story with you one time about just being in a room with a bunch of higher ed people who are doing this work, and they met me and they didn't know I was an author, and they just said hello without looking at me. Huh? Hey, how you doing? Cool. And then when I was about to leave, I had told the person who had invited me there, he was my coach back in the days in high school. I said, yo, coach, I wrote a book. And he was like, you wrote a book? I said, yeah, I slipped my mind to just give it to you. And I gave it to him, and he literally paraded around the office and said, look at his book, never reading one page. But just because he had it in his hand, and all of a sudden, all those hellos without faces looking at me started saying, yo, sit down, let's talk for a second. Like, it literally changed everything, because we do understand that not everyone's writing it. And so if someone takes the time, the same way we're talking about young people don't want to spend the time to read. Well, think about someone spending the time to create something to be read.
Right.
And now when you think about that part, there's a certain level of respect that comes from someone willing to go and we've all been writers. We know the process is daunting. There's the self-doubt, there's the imposter syndrome, there's the I don't know if I'm writing it right. All of those things come into the mix, and for you to still push the button and press on forward to do it comes with a certain level of authority, branding, and credibility that helps your business tremendously.
I love it. I love it. Yes, sir.
Me. Gio, hey, check this out, man. So when you said that about, you being in this room and, someone parading your book around, writing a book, and I've learned this after I published my my book, writing a book puts you in a category as a doctor, because now you hold something so dear until when people realize you wrote a book, they want to be able to say, wow, that is a big accomplishment. Wow, you wrote a book, and then you find so many people want to learn more about your book or maybe your story, whatever you've written. So to me, I think writing a book is almost like holding a very high degree where people can actually see that you not only a writer, but you are author, and that, like you said, that will actually put you in places that you would never dream of.
100%.
Oh, yeah. I agree with all of that. Like you said, it puts you in a different category among someone that that doesn't have this type of material out there. They'll look at this person that can leave something behind so tangible that I can read this later, and once I can, I'm like, oh, I love this. What kind of business can I do with you? Takelia, what legacy or what do you want your book to accomplish now?
About their relationship with God. I know on my end, my son has started asking questions about God, especially when he's afraid, or even randomly throughout the day. He'll ask, is God with us? Or, is God with me right now? Or, he'll just randomly ask that. And in fact, I believe he asked it today. And so I want dialogue to begin. Yes, God is with us at all times. Yes, when we are afraid, he's with us. When we're happy in the best of times, he is with us. And the mess is not only for the children that's in my book, but also for the adults. We have storms that come up in life out of nowhere. You know, we don't always have to walk into something. Sometimes it comes to us, you know, but we can hold on to our faith, believing that God is with us and believing that He's going to help us get to the other side. You know, it might be raining, storming right now, but that's not to say, you know, the next day. God is with us. You know, we can all be over and done with. Just trust and believe that He is in the midst. Okay, that is what I children and parents to get out of my book today.
Come on, evangelist. Hallelujah. I love this. I love this. Chris, so why is it important for us to truly express ourselves via a pen?
So it's very important to express yourself because you never know that someone is dealing with the same issue that you're dealing with. And I think that expression sends on experience. And once other people see your experience, it let them know that that they can overcome anything that they're dealing with in life. You know, we all, believe it or not, we all have some of the similar but yet different experiences in life, because there's so many different things that we share our story. We can say, wow, I did that, or I've been there, or I experienced that. So it's important to express yourself with the pen because it can help someone else to get over whatever the hurdle or whatever the obstacles or whatever the things that they're dealing with in life. It would definitely help them to get through that. So yeah, expression to me is very, very important because now that I read your story, now I can be more encouraged to move forward in life.
I love it. Yes, sir. Definitely. Geo, what would you say to someone that's so interested now and wanting to write a book, but just doesn't know how to get started?
Yeah, I think the one thing I would say is that remember this simple thing. There are somebody, when you think about, oh man, I want to write a book and there's so much anxiety that comes with it. I've always said that your book is a service to someone else. And so when I think about that, I start thinking about what if that person is looking for what you were meant to write and they come up empty, like they don't find that answer. It's an obligation. And so if you feel compelled to go ahead and write a book, it's your duty to come out with it. And only you could write that book that somebody needs. And so when you think about, well, I don't know where to get started, obviously online, there's several different resources. We live in an information age, so you can always find the resource. I just want you to stop thinking you don't deserve or you're not worthy to write a book. I want you to realize that there is no, the prerequisite was the burning desire in your heart to birth the book in the first place. So it's not a, where do I go to school for this? It's, did you feel the calling? Were you nudged to go ahead and do that? And be okay messing up in the beginning, knowing that you can go ahead and right those errors. Like, this is not something you wrote. You're not writing the 10 Commandments, right? So you can go ahead and edit and make changes. But the thing that I've realized when it comes to the writing process is that perfectionism that we have of, I don't know if it's good, and so they never go ahead and write it. The thing is, you can never edit a blank page. Ooh. And because you can't edit a blank page, you got to get something on that page. Something on the page so that we can improve upon it. And editing, for in my course, I'll talk about this. Editing is the definition of it is rewriting. Mm-hmm. And you can't rewrite something that has never been written before.
That is good. I love it. Y'all are so awesome. Geo, let's start with you. How can they find you on social media? And where can they publish your, find your book, buy your book?
Yes, on Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, Books A Million. You can find a book there. On social media, it's GEO, D as in Doug, ERICE on all platforms. I look forward, man. I love this show. I love the people that you've been able to put on here and give us a real worldwide view on so many different topics. And so thank you for having me, man.
Oh, yes, sir. You're welcome. Takelia, how can they find you on social media and where can they buy your book?
Yeah, so my book is currently sold on Amazon.com. media. On Facebook, I am Takelia Hammett. That's my first and last name, Takelia. My name is pronounced like the drink, but it's not spelled the same. So Takelia Hammett. And then on Instagram, Takelia.insideout. And so that's where I am. And also on LinkedIn, Takelia Hammett.
Love it. Chris, how can they find you? Where can they get the book?
So you can also get my book off of Amazon.com. You can check my website out. It's www.openmind-mentoring.org. You can also check out my Facebook, Open Mind Mentoring. Also, you can check me out, Christopher Green on Facebook, and you can check me out on Instagram, C Alpha on Instagram, and then again LinkedIn, Christopher Green on LinkedIn.
All right, y'all heard it here, and all your information is in the description below. Thank you so much, y'all, for being on. I really, really, really appreciate you, and much success to you all. Thank you.
On the next Michael Finkley, Friday, we chat with Mr. Lester Young and Mr. Christopher Robinson on their time spent incarcerated, how they have turned their negative situation into a positive one by being accomplished authors and motivational speakers. Don't you dare miss the next Michael Finkley.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Did you enjoy today's show? What did you learn? What did you learn today? What were you informed about? What were you educated on? What inspired you today? Let me know. Leave comments below and let's get the conversation started. Thank you so much, Geo, Takelia, and Chris, for being on today. We really, really, really appreciate you. You gave some awesome jewels. I'm telling you, they were speaking from the heart. They were speaking from their process, their perspectives. And during the break, Geo gave us an awesome tip as into what to do in trying to get your book into a larger market. You want to know what it is? Leave that comment below and I'll tell you what it is. Leave it below. Okay. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the best in your endeavors. And I wish you all best-selling authors. You guys deserve it. I'm telling you, I was there in the process of some of their process, but y'all got it. You got it. And we're going to depend on one another for this. Thank you so much. On the next Michael Finkley, Friday, we'll be chatting with Christopher Robinson and also Lester Young. Now, these two brothers, I tell you, they have been incarcerated. They were incarcerated for crimes, but now they are using their negative situation into a positive situation, and you will be surprised what they are doing now. But you must stay tuned for the next Michael Finkley. If you have not already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Michael Finkley Show and ring that bell for notification, and we'll send you an email saying that new content is uploaded. If you want to be a guest on The Michael Finkley Show, please email us at michael@thefinkleyexperience.com. Thank you so much for watching, and y'all, guess what? We'll see you Friday. Have a good one.